Hi everyone, Flaming Footy here and welcome back to a new video on the channel. And today guys, here we are to continue my AFL 2023 3-game match reviews. And in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the final 3 games of round 20. And those games were Hawthorn VS St Kilda, Melbourne vs Richmond and West Coast vs North Melbourne. The Saints are back in a big way. They get a huge win over Hawthorn, which well and truly saves their year. With a tough run home coming up for St Kilda, this makes things a little bit easier getting a win here and getting a really good win. And their major flaw of their game has been fixed, supposedly, for the near future anyway, in this one. Hawthorn 14-9-93, St Kilda 19-8-122. Now, spoiler alert, I did just give away what the flaw was. Their flaw in the past couple of weeks has been scoring St Kilda, but today everything changed. They won by 29 points in the end in a real shootout battle, but they managed to score 122 for the game. That's just a huge plus. They managed to keep James Sicily very quiet as well, which is another huge plus. That was where they failed last time when they played the Hawks, but that's where they excelled this time. And a 9-goal opening term is really where they won the game. They kind of took the foot off the accelerator for the rest of the game, but it was that 9-goal opening term that really hurt the Hawks. Otherwise, it probably could have been a really decent 20-point Hawthorn win, but it was a really good opening term. They managed to keep on finding goals from the middle, and then in the end they ended up getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like 10 goals in a row. After Hawthorn had the first 2 and 3 of the first 4. But anyway, though, in the second quarter, it was 3-2, so Hawthorn coming back a little bit. And then the third quarter, they brought it back. They were like, game on, it's game on. They were not going to shy away, and it would have been a huge comeback if they had gotten the job done. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 opening final term goals for St Kilda sealed the deal. AFL Fantasy now 133 for Brad Crouch, 125 for Wanganeen Miller, 122 for Impey, 119 for Day, 116 for Wingard, and still 115 for Wood. Goals behind, 6 goals for Bruce, who kept Hawthorn in it. Another really nice performance from him. 4 goals for Butler, 3 for Crouch, 2 for Higgins, Lewis, Sharman, Wingard, Day, and Caminiti. Disposals, 33 for Wanganeen Miller, 32 for Crouch, 31 for Impey, 30 for Warple. Marks, 15 for Wilkie, 11 for Impey and Day, 10 for Stocker and Wanganeen Miller, 9 for Wood and Battle. Now, if we go down, Sicily still got the 7, but wasn't as huge as he was last time. Tackles, 12 for Steele, 7 for Clark. Hit-outs, 46 for Meek, 24 for Marshall, 5 for Cordy, 3 for Frost, 1 for Lewis and Caminiti. Team stats now was the Saints that won inside 50s by 11, 46 to 57. They also won clearances as well. Centre clearances 10 to 17 and stoppage clearances 19 to 20. They won contested and uncontested ball as well. Did St Kilda. They also won the marks. Marks inside 50 though was Hawthorn 17 to 11. The Saints did lead for most of the game. They out-tackled them as well. But look, a win they really needed, and they finally fixed up one of their major weaknesses in their game. Huge win, season-saving stuff for St Kilda. Now to the Sunday Channel 7 game. It was Richmond and Melbourne at the MCG, going in as one of the biggest games of the day, especially due to this ladder position order. And, well, in the end, things were very interesting. Melbourne won it by 32 points, but not in the fashion you'd expect. Richmond 15-8-98 to Melbourne 20-10-130. And it was a unsung hero, somebody that you would not expect, that ended up being Demons' leading goal kicker for the day. Richmond started this one off really well, though. The Demons did have a hint of inaccuracy in the first quarter, but 5 straight goals in the second quarter got them going a little bit better, but it was still Richmond that really did own that second quarter. It was in the third quarter where things just changed. Richmond started off relatively well, but then 1, 2, 3, 4 goals in a row for Melbourne brought them back, and in the end they were in front. And then Richmond kicked the first 2 goals of the last term to put themselves back in front, but then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 goals in a row for Melbourne helps them win the game and win it comfortably by 32 in the end. Huge for their top 4 hopes, and it was 133 fantasy for Viney, 131 for Gawn, 118 for Petrarca, 117 for Petty, 108 for Langdon. Goals behinds now, and it was Harrison Petty. 6 goals for the day. Congratulations, Harrison Petty. 6 goals for the day. What a performance it was. 6 goals. Brilliantly done. They've needed, again, it's been an issue of theirs over the course of this year and last year as well for Melbourne, was forward line issues, but Harrison Petty with the 6 goals just drifted down. They did a really good job. And then, well, follow 6 goals for Harrison Petty. Follow up with this as well. Van Ruin, 4 goals. 4 goals for Melksham as well. 2 goals for Pickett. and then 1 goal, 3 for Petrarca, so they were all on today. And then for Richmond, 3 goals for Martin, 2 for McIntosh and Baker. But yeah, Melbourne, finally, one of their bigger flaws of their game has been fixed, and now all 3 areas of their game are ticks, in my opinion. Big green ticks, in my opinion. I reckon they'll definitely be making the top 4 now. Potentially even a shot at the top 2, because they were the only team from that top 4 which had won over the weekend. So we'll be going over that a little bit more in depth a little bit later on. But 32 disposed for Viney, 29 for Petrarca, 28 for Gawn, 25 for Bolton and Langdon marks, 10 for Petty, 8 for Vlosten and Lever, 7 for Langdon. He looked really good when he was marking the ball as well, did Harrison Petty. 9 tackles for Viney, 8 for Bowie, 7 for Rioli, hit outs, 40 for Gawn, 26 for Soldo, 5 for Miller and Van Rooyen. 3 for Petty, 2 for Bolter, 1 for Pickett. Team stats now. It was a domination of inside 50s for Melbourne, 45 to 73 in the end. So that's a huge number. They also won centre clearance and stoppage clearance. They won contested and uncontested footy as well. They won marks and marks inside 50 comfortably, 10 to 20. Also won contested marks as well. Richmond led for just over half the game. And they laid more tackles inside their forward 50 did Melbourne. But huge result here to go with a huge score and a huge win. So we finished the round in the West Coast versus North Melbourne in the Sunday twilight time slot, and it was West Coast that got a drought-breaking win. 16 games it's been since both of these two sides had last won before this one, and it was in round 2. West Coast defeated GWS at Optus Stadium 100 to 81, and North Melbourne defeated Fremantle at Optus Stadium 72 to 73. So yeah, this one was going to be huge. There was obviously going to be a winner going out of it, and they were going to break their losing streak. And it was West Coast at home by 5 points. West Coast 10-12, 72 to North 10-7, 67. And in the end, West Coast, they were the much better side. They got out to a 30-point lead on a couple of occasions, most notably that one at about three-quarter time. But look, they started off really well, 4 goals to 1, and then continued that on, kicking the opening 2 goals of the second term. North Melbourne, though, they didn't want to call it over. They kicked the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goals of the game to pretty much come back level at around half time. And then the third quarter, it is 3 goals to nothing. North do not score, and that is the quarter where they throw away the game. Had a really good opportunity to at least be contending in that quarter, but they threw away the game. And that is where they supposedly lost it, because West Coast only kicked the one behind in the last quarter, but for North Melbourne, it was going to be too far to come back. And 4 goals, 3, including a couple of really costly late behinds. Yes, they were tough chances in the end, but yeah, in the end, though, a 5-point win to West Coast, and the drought is over. And yeah, it'll be Clarko back next week for North, so Brett Ratton cannot get a win as the interim coach despite best of efforts. 120 fantasy for Davies Uniacke, 115 for Sheed, 110 for Cripps, 104 for Williams, 102 for Hunt. Goals behinds, 4 goals for Curtis, 2 for Allen, Larkey, Cripps, Tristan Zeri. Disposals, 31 for Sheasel, 30 for Davies Uniacke, 26 for Kelly and Sheed. Marks, 9 for Duggan and Sheed, as well as Hearn, 7 for Hunt. Tackles, 11 for Cripps, 8 for Thomas. Hit-outs, 33 for Tristan Zeri, who beat Bailey Williams with the 24, 22 for Goldie, 5 for Jared Williams, 4 for Jack Darling. Team stats now, where West Coast comfortably won the inside 50s by 14, 60 to 46. North won clearances, though, 7 to 11 centre clearances and 26 to 35 stoppage clearances. West Coast won contested and uncontested footy by a fair bit. They also comfortably won in marks, 102 to 66, and marks inside 50, 11 to 8. They did lead for pretty much the whole game. They laid 4 more tackles, but the big difference was tackles inside attacking 50, 26 for West Coast, 5 for North Melbourne. They were putting on the pressure inside the attacking 50, whereas North weren't. West Coast, it is a drought-breaking win. They win this one by 5 points. So to say the least, round 20 was a round full of upsets. Carlton defeated Collingwood by 17 on the Friday night. First game Saturday, GWS defeated the Dogs by 5, and then Fremantle defeated Geelong by 7. Gold Coast defeated Brisbane by 41. Sydney defeated Essendon by 2. Adelaide defeated Port Adelaide by 47. Today, a little bit more straightforward though. St Kilda defeated Hawthorn by 29. Melbourne defeated Richmond by 32, and then West Coast defeated North Melbourne by 5 points to end off what had been a topsy-turvy round. We'll go the ladder now. And as I said a little bit earlier in the Richmond-Melbourne game, Melbourne were the big movers and the big winners of the round pretty much. They were the huge winners. In fact, probably their game was one of the biggest games of the round just on what it could have done after how the rest of the round had shaped up. So Collingwood, Port Adelaide and Brisbane did not record wins in this round. Melbourne did, however. So they're closing the gap now on second place Port Adelaide and third place Brisbane, who have important games next week, which we'll be running through that fixture in just a moment. St Kilda now, their win, climb up into 5th and got a bit of handy percentage. GWS are in 6th with their win over the Western Bulldogs. Carlton are in 7th, and as I said, the Dogs are just narrowly hanging on to 8th spot. They were lucky because it could be the Cats if it wasn't for their shocking loss to Fremantle. Sydney now have jumped up into 10th spot. Richmond are in 11th. Adelaide jump up into 12th after their win over Port Adelaide and keep their season alive. Essendon and Gold Coast as well, just fighting for their seasons next week. They're going to have some huge clashes as well, both on the 36 points. Fremantle on 32 and are a mathematical chance, but they still do play Brisbane and Port Adelaide in their run home, so it'll be pretty tough. Hawthorn in 16th, North in 17th, and now West Coast, they are level with North Melbourne on points. So we're going to go to next week's games now. And this one on the Friday night is a big one. It's going to be the Dogs and the Tigers at Marvel Stadium. And the Dogs just haven't rocked up in big games this year. So that one's going to be a really interesting watch. Now, Essendon, they play West Coast next week and then North the week prior. So you'll probably be thinking by the end of those two games, I mean, they've got to win them both anyway if they're a chance for finals because they've got the Giants and Pies to follow. But, yeah, they need to win this game. And, yeah, they'll probably be back up in the top 8 by the end of their 2-game patch. Now, Adelaide and Gold Coast, it's probably season over for the loser of this game, really. Hawthorn and Collingwood, that's going to be a huge game. Collingwood just have to respond. Geelong and Port Adelaide, though, is probably going to be one of the games of the round. Two sides that desperately need a win. Port Adelaide definitely need their win, though. Huge. And Geelong need to try and get back into the finals in Geelong, though. Giants Stadium will host the Sydney Derby on the Saturday night as well. That's going to be a massive game. The Giants have to win it. Again, they need to keep on getting their wins, and they're in good form. And then we go to Sunday, North Melbourne and Melbourne at Blunston Arena. That'll mark Clarko's coaching return for North Melbourne. St Kilda and Carlton in the Sunday Channel 7 game, which that game now, 5th versus 7th, is going to have huge finals ramifications in that one. And then we finish it off where Brisbane desperately need the win, and this will be Freo's absolutely last chance, really. I can't see them making finals, but it's Freo and Brisbane to conclude the round. So what a round of footy round 20 was in the end, and what a 3 games these 3 games were. Anyway, though, thank you guys so much for watching. Please do make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. See you guys never see another video on the channel. Thank you guys so much. And bye everyone. Flame Footy out.